Math people. Let's solve some equations that involve exponents. Alright, so we have done this before in the past when we did our volume unit. Alright, but we're going to revisit it here soon because this is going to come in handy when you guys learn about the Pythagorean theorem. Alright, I'm not going to steal its thunder, so I'm not going to tell you what that is right now, but that's coming up, so stay tuned. Alright, so first equation. We have x raised to the second power equals 49. Alright. So we all know that x to the second power, what that really means is x times x. So we're looking for some number when multiplied by itself equals 49. Alright, well, if you guys watched the last two videos on square roots, you'll know how to solve this question. So in order to solve this question, to get x alone, we are going to square root both sides. Alright, so we take the square root of both sides. Alright. When you square root a square, alright, it just gives you that number x. Alright, I won't get into details. I normally would under normal circumstances, but I'm trying to be short here. So we have x equals the square root of 49. Well, what number times itself equals 49? 7. Or, if you guys paid close attention, you also know that there's a negative root for 49. Alright, and that would be negative 7. Alright, so my answer here would be 7 or negative 7. Alright, a cube. Alright, x to the third power equals 125. Alright, so really we're asking ourselves, what number, when multiplied by itself 3 times, equals 125? Alright, so in order to undo raising something to the third power, you take the cubed root of both sides. So I'm going to take the cubed root of the left, which will just give me x. I take the cubed root of the right. Well, the cubed root of 125, what number times itself equals 125? Well, 3 times 3 times 3 gives me 27. That's too small. 4 times 4 times 4 gives me 64. 5 times 5 is 25 times another 5. Takes us up to 125. So x equals 5. Now, if you can't do that in your head, use your calculator. All right. Cubed root of 125 is 5. Alright, now notice, cubed roots, equations with cubed roots only have one answer. Equations with square roots have two answers. Alright, so that's very important. Now, another thing you have to remember is if you see something like, x squared equals negative 121. I cannot solve this. Well, I kind of can because I'm a math teacher and I know about imaginary numbers, but you guys don't. Alright, so this we cannot do right now. Alright, so I take the square root of both sides and I get x equals the square root of negative 121. Now, I don't like that at all because we cannot take the square root of a negative number. Alright, because there's no number when multiplied by itself will yield a negative. So for right now, we can't do these. Alright, once you hit 10th, 11th grade with Mrs. Timmerman, you'll be good. Alright, however, we can deal with a cubic equation that involves negatives. Say I have x to the third equals negative 27. I can answer this. Alright, so to undo raising something to the third power, I take the cubed root of both sides, so I get x on the left equals the cubed root of negative 27. So what number times itself equals negative 27? That answer is negative 3. Alright, so that's negative 3. Alright, so, and notice there's only one answer for that. Now, if you guys do get in situations, which I don't think you will with IXL. Let me just go off on one more tangent. Say we had an equation like x squared equals 30. Okay? So to solve this, I need to take the square root of both sides. Square root, square root. I'm left with x. Now, what number times itself equals 30? It's tough. Well, 4 times 4 is 16, so it's bigger than 4. 5 times 5 is 25, so it's bigger than 5. 6 times 6 is 36, so it's between 5 and 6. Now, if you were to do this on your calculator, the square root of, where's my square root button, of 30, it's like 5.4772255575. you know what's actually going to happen? This number is going to go on forever, and it is not going to repeat. All right. Therefore, I can't write this number as a fraction. Therefore, it's irrational. All right. So if you take the square root of a number that's not a perfect square, you get an irrational number. Now, I could ask you to round, but the best way to write this down is x equals the square root of 30. This is the best way to write that answer. All right. Or negative square root of 30 with the negative on the outside. All right. Now, this is exact. So if you guys remember back to volume, it's kind of like how we dealt with multiplying by pi. All right. A lot of times when you multiply by pi, you get an irrational number because we have to round at some point. All right. And pi goes on forever without repeating. So this is the same boat. This is exact. All right. So if you want an exact value for your answer, you leave it under the radical sign. Now, I don't think that happens in IXL, so I may have just confused you. Hopefully not. As always, send me any messages. Hit me up with any questions.